Howdy Goons! The RGDS was announced a couple weeks ago, and like most of you, I was excited for it. A DS emulation handheld for less than $100? Sounds too good to be true. Being that this channel is about budget gaming, the Thor, while being a great system, is outside of the budget category. I'm not really wanting 3DS emulation quite yet either. It's expensive to nail it, and 3DS and 2DS systems are still readily available, and being original hardware, they would of course have better games compatibility. Besides, the main reason I prefer emulation is for retro achievements, and 3DS doesn't have achievement sets yet. The Wii is only just getting them next year, so it's gonna be a little while. So the RGDS seemed perfect. DS gaming for under $100. It'd be a great device for playing different games for more retro achievements. Well, the specs came out, and it looks like the RGDS won't be able to handle emulating with Melon DS. This matters because the other alternative is emulation using Drastic, which is currently not receiving any more updates in the future. Since it's no longer getting updates and it's no longer requiring increasingly better and better hardware, this means that it's great for lower power devices because we already have a power cap for it. We know exactly what it can be run on. But Drastic doesn't have retro achievement support, which is the only reason that I prefer emulation. Melon DS is also better software and has retro achievement support, but this means that there isn't much of a difference between the RGDS and original hardware, other than appearance, I guess. The only difference is going to be save states and running older games, which I don't use save states anyway. That means that original hardware isn't just the same as the RGDS, but better because of improved games compatibility on the DS. I decided that I'll just dust off my DSi and mod it and then play games from original hardware instead. Let me give you a quick rundown of what this video is going to be about. First, I'll tell you what you need to mod it, so you can decide if you have the cash or means to do this. Second, I won't show you how to mod it, but I will give you links in the description for the original guide that I followed. There isn't a point to me telling you how to do it because this kind of stuff updates. I can't update a video once it's out, but the text guides can be updated and will be updated. But it's not hard. As long as you follow the step-by-step instructions, you can do it. Just take your time and read ahead and then do it. Third, I'll tell you what I've been playing in my experience, and then I'll wrap it up and give some game suggestions for you to check out because the DS had a lot of good games. I didn't need much. I already had two DSi, a white one and a blue one. The blue one was picked at by its previous owner, so I went with the white one. Keep in mind that it has to be one with an SD card slot. If it's an original DS, you'll have to get a flash cart instead. Then I needed a new battery. Both of these were showing signs of turning into spicy pillows, so I got rid of the batteries for them a year ago. The batteries are still being made to this day, and I got brand new 2025 made batteries from Amazon for just $10. I needed to replace the stylus too, so I got this 5-pack that came with 2 USB to DS chargers. These fit other DS systems too, so like the 3DS. It's a pretty good deal. Lastly, I needed an SD card. Unlike the Wii, it didn't need an old specific SD card. It didn't need an SD original. It can use SDHC. So I used one of my leftovers from my retro handheld stuff. It's a 32GB SanDisk card and a Walmart brand full-size SD adapter. You'll also need a way for your PC to read the card. This is plenty of space as most DS games aren't larger than 100 megabytes. Since I had all of this stuff already, the hack was just the cost of the battery replacement. I could have lived without the stylus. It wouldn't have been a good life, but I could have lived without one. If you're buying all of this stuff, including the console, a used DSi is only around $60. I found them at thrift stores for $30, and the SD card is $10. Even if you have to replace the spicy pillow and charger, it would be around $20 cheaper than the RGDS. You also might be able to find a 2DS slab style one for around $80, and you can hack those and play 3DS as well. It's just not as portable. I didn't do that because I already have these DSi, and I don't want to buy something new. So by doing this, instead of getting an RGDS, you can save between $40 and $100 for more compatibility. Of course, the RGDS is going to have better performance with older systems. A modded DSi can really only do partial GBA support, and older home consoles like SNES, NES, and Genesis through emulation apps in the system. But the screens are too small for those to be much fun on it. But if all you want to do is play DS again, this is awesome. I've only had it hacked for a few days, but I have been having fun with it. I immediately started playing Meteos because this is one of those games that can only function on a touchscreen. Meteos is a match 3 puzzler where pieces can be moved vertically only. You'll drag them up and down and match them either vertically or horizontally. You can leave the piece wherever you want. They don't have to match for you to lift your pen off of it. So you can set these matches up however you want. Once the pieces match, they're turned into a rocket and they'll lift the pieces above it off the screen. So you're basically launching all of the squares up into the atmosphere. Depending on the gravity of the planet that you're matching on, the weight of the blocks above the match, and whether pieces are falling onto your match, the speed of the liftoff will change. It's a physics-based puzzler, so it'll make more sense when you actually play it, or now now when you're seeing me play it. As you play, you'll unlock minerals that can be used to unlock more planets and items, and each planet changes what the tiles look like. It's a very fun, bright, colorful game. Next, I tried to play Sonic Chronicles. This one is kind of a trip. Sonic had an RPG game that was made by BioWare, the people who make Dragon Age and Mass Effect. The game even has dialogue options like one of those games. I wanted to play it again, but I think the ROMs must be corrupted or something. It crashes every time the tutorial starts, so unfortunately, that's a no-go. But it's the only one that I've had an issue with. Apparently, it doesn't work on most emulators on PC either. It just must be a bad dump. I hate it when you get a bad dump. I had to get my RPG fix elsewhere, so I'm playing Children of Mana. It's one of the Mana entries before they all became phone games. If you played Sword of Mana, it's just like that. I haven't played it long, but it seems to be a dungeon crawler roguelike sort of thing. The dungeon isn't randomized and you keep your levels and equipment, but when you die, you don't keep anything. So like most roguelikes, you have to weigh risk versus reward. Do I stay in and get more stuff and risk dying, or do I leave when it's safe and just deal with getting less stuff? It's also co-op and has 4 characters to choose from with 8 starting elements. These can help you make a sort of hybrid class. I chose Timbre, she's a dancer-like character, and I chose the moon element because it's free healing. You might be thinking, well, if I can't play 3DS, this is a waste of time. But there are quite a few great DS games. If you didn't grow up with the DS, it still has a lot of games that are close enough to the 3DS that I think you'll appreciate it. Despite starting with the GBC and primarily playing GBA, I remember the DS era the best. So I have a lot of recommendations for people who decide to mod their DS. If you like RPGs, this was like the PS2. It is so full of RPGs. If you like Final Fantasy, there's like a billion Final Fantasies. Like there's Final Fantasy 3, which up until this point had not been released in the US. It was a different game that was called Final Fantasy 3, and not only did it start in the US with this entry, but it was also full 3D. And then there was also a remake of Final Fantasy 4, I think it was, and that one's my favorite. Well, Final Fantasy 4 in general. Then there's Final Fantasy Tactics A2, Grimoire of the Rift, and it's a sequel of the same great Final Fantasy Tactics Advance for the GBA. If you're not familiar with it, it's a tactics game with tons of classes and different races, and it's a pretty great game. It's mechanically deep as well. Then there's the Final Fantasy 4 Heroes of Light, which ends up playing pretty similar to Bravely Default, which comes out later, so if you like Bravely Default, you should check out 4 Heroes of Light. There's also spin-off series of the Final Fantasy series, like there's a spin-off sequel to Final Fantasy 11, I think it is, the one with Van and Pinello. People say that the best version of Chrono Trigger is the DS one. The second screen adds a bunch of utility through maps. It also has some additional endings, so even if you play the original, there's more for you here. If you're the Pokemon sort, there are lots of Pokemon games, but also Fossil Fighters and Spectrobes. They're monster catcher games where you uncover fossils to get new monsters. Perfect for the Dino kids in the family. For the quirky RPG fan, there's Mario and Luigi War Edition. They're turn-based RPGs, but you'll put in button commands to attack and defend, which can increase damage dealt or reduce the damage you receive, like Paper Mario. If you're someone who has to install Stardew Valley on everything they own, the DS has its own version. It's called Rune Factory, and I'm sure Harvest Moon's on there as well, but I play Rune Factory, and there's 3 of them. They're all fantasy life sims where you'll catch monsters, put them to work on your farm, grow and harvest crops, fight in dungeons, and get married. If you're a furry, there's Solo to Robo. It's a game from the same universe as Fuga Melodies of Steel. You're going to have to play a ROM version of this one though, because the last time I saw it in person, it was $200. They did not print very many copies of this game. For platformers, we have 4 Kirby games, multiple Mega Man games, Starfy, Mario, multiple Sonic games, and Super Princess Peach. For once, Peach gets to save the day. If you like Castlevania, some of the best Castlevania games came out on the DS. Portrait of Ruin, Dawn of Sorrow, and Order of Ecclesia. Last of all, if you like weird games, there's Nintendogs, which was my first DS game. It's just a dog care sim. Rhythm Heaven for fun rhythm games that are also stupidly hard and weird. Then WarioWare Touched, Gold, and DS, and Wario Master of Disguise. So yeah, modding your DS is going to keep you pretty busy. I was lucky with this DSi. The previous owner takes really good care of his stuff. I know him pretty well, and if I didn't, I would have thought that he never played it. It's pretty pristine. The only thing you have to worry about with the games is installing too many. Twilight Menu only lists the game's single file order, so if you have a billion games, it's going to take ages for you to get to the end and find your game. If you have a hacked 3DS with Twilight Menu, you can use NDS Forwarder to list them as home icons, and I think the same thing exists on the regular DS, but the limit is 40, so you have to use it as a sort of favorites list. If you don't feel like doing that, you can also put numbers at the beginning of your files and organize them in the order that you want. So you can go in and you can put a 1 in front of the, and on Children of Mana, the ROM that I have has a number designating it, so it puts it at the front of the list because numbers are always at the first in alphabetical order. That's it for this one though. I got some stuff to do. Oh, right, the outro, sorry. Don't forget to tip your alien. I take likes, subs, and an expanding list of games that even an immortal like myself will never finish. Alright, bye. Yeah, just make sure to shut the door behind you when you leave. I won't be getting up for a little while.